The divide between the haves and the have-nots in the air is getting ever starker as the world's biggest airlines continue to squeeze the low-paying customers while lavishing premium flyers with even more perks. Joining us to discuss is WSJ Aerospace reporter Robert Wall in London. Hi, Robert. So tell us, what is behind this growing rift between the air-traveling big spenders and the more budget-minded?
Yeah, well, what's really happening here is airlines are having to react to a couple of things. One is an increase in competition, and the other is changes in customer behavior. And, at the low end, what we're really seeing is more and more passengers just care about one thing, and that is price. And that's obviously driven the growth of a lot of the budget airlines. And now some of the network carriers, the older carriers, are trying to react, and they're stripping out a lot of the features they used to offer for their basic tickets to offer lower fares. And interestingly enough, that's creating this other situation where the folks who are willing to pay more for a bit of comfort, the battle for them has intensified. You really now need to offer a very luxurious product. On international routes, the U.S. carriers are competing fiercely against some of the overseas carriers that have much longer had better front-end cabins, business classes, and very lavish products. So we're in a bit of an arms race at the front and a bit of a race to the bottom at the back.
Oh, that does not sound fun if you are actually looking for a basic economy seat. What does that term now mean at many airlines, basic economy?
Yeah, so basic economy, it's slightly different airline to airline, but essentially it means that a lot of the things that someone who had an economy class ticket and got used to over the years will have to do without. One of the things is you no longer get to pick your own seat. On some carriers, it basically means you don't even get a carry-on bag. You certainly don't get a checked luggage anymore. So if you want to think about it, in some cases it means you get a seat on a plane and you get access to the toilet, not much more.
And then just a few rows ahead, you can see how the better half flies. What are some of those extra perks that are showing up in first class these days?
Yeah, so if you go overseas, there's already been a lot going on there. I think the Gulf carriers are probably most famous. Yeah, Emirates on its A380s offers showers for its first-class passengers. Etihad Airways on the 380 it gives you an entire room. They call it a residence. Other airlines have had bars in business class and first class, and now what you're seeing is some of the U.S. carriers trying to catch up. Offering basically not really business class seats. They're suites. They're kind of cocoons in which you can kind of close yourself off to the outside world. You get pajamas, you get fancy headsets, you get whatnot. So it's a bit like a hotel experience.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the cabin layout of a United Boeing 777. Almost half the cabin space here is dedicated to first class. Then there's a little bit called Economy Plus, then Economy, looking very, very cozy. And you can see the breakdown in the ticket price there. It's quite substantial.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the front of the plane is where you're going to make the money. The back of the plane, maybe it pays for your fuel. So that's where the one thing that the airline basically selling is real estate in the sky, right? So if you're going to pay $5,000 plus dollars for a ticket, you're going to get more of that real estate, and that's just a fact of life. Yeah.
Where are the airlines feeling the most demand then? Are there a lot of people, clamoring to pay that $5,000 for a little bit more space, or are they feeling more demand in Economy Plus or back in economy?
Well, clearly an airline will expect its load factor, so the percentage of seats sold, to be higher at the back. But because your margins are better at the front, you don't have to sell 80%, 90% of the tickets. So right now the industry seems to be fairly healthy, and they seem to be striking a pretty healthy balance. But on some popular routes, you can see the back and the front of the plane sold out.
That's right. Good advice if you're sitting in economy. Just don't look as you pass first class so you don't feel so bad. All right. Thank you, Robert Wall, for all of that. Thank you.